The move is official as Robert Hassel III makes his debut tonight against the Atlanta Braves. Dylan Cruz is headed to the IL with an oblique strain. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned am I? Well,
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals again on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, again, wherever you get your podcasts. Later on in today's show, we'll be previewing Game 2 of this Nats-Braves series. Yesterday got postponed, so we'll preview tonight's matchup. And oh, by the way, a pitching matchup for the ages, for everyone that wanted to see out there. That has been postponed as well. So we'll discuss that later on in today's program. And in the second segment, multiple things I want to get into. Number one, let's talk about the Nats playoff chances at this point. Where are they in the wild card race? And could they actually make a push down the line? We'll discuss that later on in the show today. But we start off discussing today's big news with Dylan Cruz headed to the IL. I think this is what everyone expected, but it is still concerning nonetheless. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned am I? And how concerned are you? Right now, I sit at around a 7 of the concern scale here. Dylan Cruz was actually starting to turn a corner. And this is one thing that just kills all momentum. I think Dylan Cruz will overall be fine, but if you look at his recent success over the past week, it felt as if things were starting to click. And we have talked about this over and over again on this show. It's going to take some time for these younger players to come up and make a real impact. We saw it last year with James Wood. Later on in the year, he started to kill the baseball, and that's when we knew that this guy was going to be elite. Dylan Cruz last year actually came up, had a red-hot start for the first few games, then really cooled down as the season went on, and he's been struggling for the first part of the season also. But over the last week, Dylan Cruz has probably been playing his best baseball. Number one, Cruz defensively has been stout. We are going to miss that over the next couple of weeks or so. But number two, the numbers that he has been putting up offensively finally kind of screams Dylan Cruz production. Over his past 7 games, he's had 6 hits, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs and 2 stolen bases in there also, while also walking 4 times in that span. That was a 995 OPS. For a consistent stretch, this felt like the first real good stretch for Dylan Cruz dating back to the middle of April, where he had like a 6-game hitting streak and he had like 8 hits in like 7 games, and he was killing the baseball, and it was all fun and games. But then he kind of went back to his older ways where he was been struggling. He's not really putting the ball in play. He's striking out. He's taking a lot of strikes. The past week, though, has just simply felt different. The approach that we have talked about with him. Dylan Cruz is at his best when he is up the middle. When Dylan Cruz is finding the gaps in right center field or in left center field, that is the best Dylan Cruz out there. And that is the Nationals really need at this point with Dylan Cruz. We don't need him to hit for power. We need Dylan Cruz to, number one, get on base, and number two, hit for not power, but consistently and put the ball in play. With where Cruz is now, though, this is a little bit concerning. An oblique injury is one of those things where it's the wild, wild west. You don't know what will happen. Now, it seems as if the Nationals will be okay without Dylan Cruz. You've got Robert Hassel III, who's going to be making his debut tonight unless it gets rained out again. But David Martinez did say that he was a little concerned just 2 nights ago. And I think once we all kind of heard that, because typically the Nationals and baseball and coaches in general, they always downplay injuries. Even if it's just a minor tweak, it's like, oh, he'll be okay. We'll check him out tomorrow. But for the manager to admit that he's a little concerned, I think that kind of sounded the alarms a little bit. So Dylan Cruz is heading to the 10-day IL with a right oblique strain. And after his, third at bat, I believe, in the 6th inning of 2 games ago, or I guess 2 nights ago, that's when we all saw him kind of reach back to his oblique. And that's when we all kind of realized, like, oh no. And Dylan Cruz acknowledged that this has been happening since he played the Braves last week. So this has been an ongoing issue now. At this point, it feels as if he just kind of tweaked it again. But the Nationals are going to be very cautious with this injury. How much time do you expect Dylan Cruz to miss? I feel as if this is going to be about a month-long injury. And that's so unfortunate at this point. Because again, Cruz had the momentum going. He had the good quality at bats that we really have not seen too much of over the past few months here. You have seen him play stout defensively, which he has always done with the Washington Nationals. But it felt as if we were clicking. The Nationals are winning 4 straight games. You play a great game against the Atlanta Braves the other night. He crushes a home run in his first at bat, 10 rows deep in a left field there at Nats Park. And now you have this come. Dylan Cruz just simply cannot catch a break. He can't. And the Nationals can't either. So the corresponding move was to have Robert Hassel III come up, who has also been killing the baseball in AAA Rochester. And everyone was excited to see him play last night. And the Nationals actually finally did the right thing, by the way, of calling the game hours before it was supposed to happen. Even then, we all saw the weather. There was a 100% chance of rain from like 6 to 10 p.m. Everyone kind of knew when I was recording this show yesterday that the game would likely be rained out. And even today's weather does not look all too great. It's right now cloudy, and I believe it's still raining outside. I haven't even looked out the window at this point. But what a shame all around. Dylan Cruz heads to the IL. Robert Hassel III has his debut rained out. And it just feels sucky at this point. And also, not even to mention, we were supposed to have Chris Sale against Mackenzie Gore tonight. That pitching matchup is incredible. And I even saw Braves fans discussing this point yesterday. They were like, well, at least we get to miss out on Mackenzie Gore now, because that game is postponed to like the middle of September, which makes no sense to me. Play a doubleheader today. Play it during the day. I guess it's supposed to rain, so they're just like, you know what? We're not even going to try to play around this doubleheader. We're going to postpone it till the middle of September when maybe there's better weather here in DC. Which again, just kind of brings up the point. We should have a dome here. But the big story for today is that Dylan Cruz heads to the IL with an oblique injury. And he's on the 10-day IL, but still, I expect him to miss probably near a month of baseball. They're going to take their time with this injury. It's not one thing that they're going to want to have pop up later on in the season. And when he comes back, they're going to make sure that he is 100% healthy. He'll probably get some good rehab bats down in AA and AAA and whatever level that he has to come with. But very unfortunate injury, very unfortunate timing for the Nationals. And Dylan Cruz, it just sucks to see because, again, it felt like this team was clicking. It felt like this offense was finally starting to come alive a little bit. It felt as if this bullpen was finally starting to pitch up to the standards that a lot of us expected, which would be maybe not the worst bullpen in baseball, which, by the way, they aren't anymore. So it sucks, but this is baseball. 162 games. It's a long season. Injuries are going to happen. And unfortunately for the Nationals, Dylan Cruz, one of our top guys that everyone's going to be watching for, he's headed to the 10-day IL with an oblique injury. So hopefully everything goes well with him. Hopefully the Nationals can get him back healthy sometime this summer, and he will. But still, not a fun injury. It's one of those things where you hear an oblique injury, and it's just very unfortunate because it's a very hard injury to really get past. So hopefully the Nationals can get him back to 100%, we'll see him out in the diamond sooner than what I think, which is about a month or so. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Next, let's talk about this. Nationals in the playoffs. Will it happen? We'll discuss that after we tell you guys about our very good friends over at Supply House and get the supplies that you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're getting plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online, and their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. I'm not the handiest guy ever, but here I have a rental. And with these rentals, a lot of things break down, and the maintenance team just simply is not good. I go to supplyhouse.com, and when I do, they give me all the helpful resources that I need to figure out what tools that I will need, and they can ship them directly to me. It only takes a few days, and bam, the fix is in. And I can do it myself. I'm not, again, the handiest person out there, but I can do it because Supply House, they tell me step-by-step instructions and how to use their skilled trades and everything more. You can start taking advantage. And of course, it's your turn now. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And again, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Again, that is supplyhouse.com. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, just to rehash things, Dylan Cruz headed to the 10-day IL with an oblique injury. We'll discuss kind of more of what that means for the Nationals and the offense on tomorrow's show. But Robert Hassel III does make his debut tonight if the weather does not bang this game like it did last night. So on tomorrow's show, since Robert Hassel III is being called up, it's a Friday. You know what that means. It's a Nats prospect stock report. So whose stock is up, whose stock is down. Stay tuned for tomorrow's show to find out on your latest individual performances for your Washington Nationals top prospects. And there's some good ones this week, so stay tuned to tomorrow's show. But with where the Nationals are, the big league team, let's take a look at it. Where are the Nationals in the wild card rankings, and can they actually make a playoff push? Right now, the Nationals are 22-27. They have won their last 4 games. And even just 2 weeks ago, the Nationals were 2 games under 500, and the Nats were actually making a pretty solid wild card case at that point, even with having a terrible bullpen. And we were always saying, if the Nationals did not have a bad bullpen, where would we have been? You probably would have won maybe 5 more games at this point, and the Nationals record would have looked completely different from what it does right now. But the Nationals bullpen, they have made some moves. They DFA'd Colin Poche. They DFA'd Lucas Sims. And the Nats bullpen with Cole Henry and Jackson Rutledge and all these younger guys in it now, they're starting to kind of settle in and make some good music here with the Nats. And with the results, you have seen 4 straight wins, and the bullpen has a sub-4 ERA over the last 10 games. The Nationals have been doing pretty damn well. What are the postseason chances at this point? You sit 6 games back. You have teams like the Reds and the Braves and the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals who have been red hot as of recent. Do the Nationals have a chance at this point? I'm not going that far as of right now. I'm just not. I went into this season thinking that the Nationals could get close. If I remember correctly, I predicted 79 wins this season. I still think that's very realistic for where the Nationals are. In fact, I'd be disappointed if they don't win 78 games. 78, 79 games, they should win that with the talent that they have on this roster. You have got an all-star shortstop with C.J. Abrams. You've got an all-star left fielder with James Wood. You've got a stud young guy with Dylan Cruz in center field and right field. And of course, he's on the shelf now with an oblique injury, but still, the Nationals, they've got the young talent. You've got a stud with Mackenzie Gore. Jake Irvin is solid. The starting pitching has been pretty okay at this point in time. But where the Nationals lose me, there's two different things. Number one, the bullpen. The bullpen has been better. It has been. But it's still not up to par. And with a young bullpen, the way that the Nationals have, it's going to take some time to click. It's going to take some time to have this gear kind of kick in and take control of games later on in games where you're up like 5-4, for instance. That's going to be a tough one to win, especially with a young bullpen. And the Nationals, fortunately for us, over the last week, you actually had been winning those games. And in the weeks prior, you've seen Lucas Sims come in, walk 3 guys, and the bases were loaded with 1 out. And all of a sudden, you have one big hit, and we're losing the ball game. We've seen that time and time again. And the run differential for the Nationals is at minus 47 at this point. One of the worst in the National League. I believe it's 4th worst at this point in time in all of baseball. It's in the bottom third. But with where the Nationals are now, you have the talent. You have the young pedigree that it kind of takes to make a postseason team. You have some of the ingredients, but you're also missing some also. And the other missing ingredient outside of the bullpen is veteran talent. If you have had Josh Bell have a pretty solid average season, let's say Josh Bell is batting .230 with a 710 OPS, and he has 7 home runs, or actually I think he has right around that at this point. But you hear the point. If he was more consistent with power, if he comes up in big situations, whether it be against the Phillies a few weeks ago with ducks on the pond, top of the 9th inning there, a chance to really kind of blow this thing open, and he strikes out in that scenario. If hits like that go through, the Nationals would be in a much better standing. But we are missing that last piece still. And that is kind of what makes this Nationals team a little bit iffy to say, this is a postseason team. Because you look at the young talent and you're like, this is a good ball club. You see the future. You see why Mike Rizzo made that Juan Soto trade. You see why the Nationals have taken their time with young prospects and kind of pushed them up through the organization. And they finally make their debut. And guys like James Wood is already a superstar. Guys like CJ Abrams, while it took a pretty long time there, he's now a superstar. Keibert Ruiz, while he's still not hitting for power, he's certainly getting on base and he's putting the ball in play, and something that he did not really do last season. You see the building blocks here, and you see them really starting to tower up for the Nats. But with where we are missing that veteran piece. And Nathaniel Lowe, while he has been good, I think a lot of Nationals fans overall may overrate him a little bit. Just a little bit. And I like Nathaniel Lowe. I do. He's a good baseball player. But let's be honest. The Nationals have not had any production over at first base the last few years. From Dominic Smith to Joey Meneses to name that random player playing first base. They tried to make Riley Adams a first baseman. That never worked out. With where the Nats are, Nathaniel Lowe is good. Like, he is fine. But let's be honest. You could move off of Nathaniel Lowe and be just fine. I look down in the lower ranks in guys like Yohandy Morales. That would be my first baseman. I think he's got plus potential over at first base defensively, and I think his bat is going to play in a big way when he gets up to the majors, which hopefully should be sometime this season. So yes, while I'm kind of talking out of both ends of my mouth here, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Ryan, Nathaniel Lowe is a veteran guy who has won a World Series, who has had big playoff runs, and he's good defensively, and he's solid offensively. Why would you want to move off him? That's not really my point. I like Nathaniel Lowe. Nathaniel Lowe brings what I need. But I also think the Nationals could be better. And I think if you're Mike Rizzo, the GM there, you have to be thinking to yourself, we could be better over at first base. And we could have another veteran presence in that, whether it be a second baseman to take over Luis Garcia Jr., who has really struggled this year. Maybe it's a starting pitcher that you bring in this offseason. Maybe you make a big trade in the offseason and try to land someone from, let's say, the Seattle Mariners or someone like that. That's the kind of move that I think the Nationals would have to make in order to kind of get over that hump. And they could have made that this offseason, but they ultimately chose not to do that. And that's fine if you think that the Nats weren't ready to make that move, but I think they were. And if you do have that veteran star in the building, then it totally changes the projection of where this team is and where they should be. But they signed Josh Bell, has not worked out so far. They traded for Nathaniel Lowe, and the Nathaniel Lowe trade is good. You give up Robert Garcia for him, but still, you could be better over at first base, let's be honest. And number 3, you just got to spend money. You got to spend money. And if the Nationals did do that this offseason, then I believe that we would be in a much better standing moving forward. But unfortunately for us, that's not the case at this point. But tonight's game, let's preview it. Robert Hassel III makes his debut 2.0 because we talked about it nearly for 20 minutes yesterday. And of course, it got rained out, but still, you got a game to play tonight, and I'm excited about it. So let's preview this game. And also, I've got some news. A minor leaguer, one of the Nats' top prospects, has made a jump to High A Wilmington. We'll discuss that after this. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So I told you guys just before this break that you have got a promotion amongst your Nats top prospects, and that is 2023 second round pick Travis Sikora. He has made his jump from low A Fredericksburg, which he has been in since the beginning of last year, and by the way, has just dominated at every single level he has been at. And this is the move that I think a lot of Nationals fans have been waiting for. And by the way, I just want to say this. Look at his numbers this season. Across 4 starts so far, he has a 0.82 ERA. In 11 innings pitched, he has 23 strikeouts. He had 14 strikeouts in his 5 innings pitched in Fredericksburg. And looking at just what he has done, 2 hits allowed in 11 innings this year. Unreal. Travis Sikora, for whatever reason, MLB sites are not that high on him. I don't get it. Like, he is a top 100 prospect, yeah, but this guy should be a top 20 prospect. And he's going to be by the midway this season. If he is not, then I don't know what to say. Because this guy is an absolute stud. A 0.455 whip on the season so far. And again, it's just been 4 starts and only 11 innings pitched. But you understand the point. Nearly 19 strikeouts per 9 innings, only 2.5 walks per 9 after last year, nearly only walking 3 batters per 9 innings and having 14 strikeouts per 9. Travis Sikora is the premier prospect for the Nationals. Well, he gets a bump up to High A Wilmington. And by the way, he is, 21 years old? He should have been promoted a long time ago, but he started off on the injured list this season, missed the first month or so, got back, and now he is finally in that area where you could see him move up to Double-A relatively quickly, because the Nationals in Wilmington, for whatever reason, they have really moved prospects fast away from that facility. Hitting-wise, they even had Dylan Cruz skip High A and go to Double-A right away. Yohandy Morales basically skipped High A also. And the Nationals, they don't really like their hitters or their pitchers staying at High A for all too long. It is a pitcher-friendly ballpark, but still, I think the Nationals are going to really want to push up Sikora, especially if he shows the stuff. He's 21 years old. He was drafted out of high school nearly 2 years ago, and they're very high on this kid. He is your number 1 prospect for an absolute reason. He is a stud. He's got all the things that you would want. His mechanics are a little weird, which I love with the pitcher. It's kind of an old school way to watch him pitch. So keep your eye on Travis Sikora. He's in High A Wilmington, and that's going to be a fun watch moving forward. But let's talk about Robert Hassel III's debut tonight. And again, he's going up against AJ Smith-Shawver for the Atlanta Braves. And we've got Trevor Williams on the bump tonight, who has been pretty rough here as of recent. But looking back at AJ Smith-Shawver's last start, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits given up, and 0 earned runs against the Washington Nationals. He had 6 strikeouts in that start as well. So far in the season, batters are batting .218 against AJ Smith-Shawver, a 121 batting average against in the month of May in just 3 starts. Although I will say, one of those went against a very cold Nationals lineup and also a very bad Pittsburgh Pirates lineup. So that's a little skewered. But against the Cincinnati Reds, who do have a very potent lineup, he went 8 innings pitched, 1 hit, and 0 earned runs while striking out 5 and walking 4 in that game against the Reds. So he has been off to a really, really strong April or May so far this season. It's a very unfortunate thing to see Robert Hassel go up against a very good pitcher here. But that righty-lefty matchup, that's going to be kind of cool. And one thing I will say, Robert Hassel III grew up watching the Braves. From Tennessee there, that's kind of home base for the Atlanta Braves. Really cool thing to have him debut at Nationals Park, going up against a team that he watched growing up. So just a cool storyline to watch. But again, hopefully the rain does not get in the way. I'm looking out right now. Looks kind of cloudy. I'm no meteorologist here, but I'm going to say the rain stays away tonight. And you're going to see some Nationals baseball and Robert Hassel III's debut, a very much so anticipated one that a lot of people will be watching for. And hopefully the fans pack it out tonight for Bobby Barrel's season. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.